So when we think about our positive psychology and our happiness and our levels of happiness, okay, we think about our character and our life congruence. Character and life congruence. This goes back to those pictures. If you think about, if you looked up who those people are, you'll see what I mean by character and life congruence. Establish foundational values, value-based decision-making. Values, things that they did were based upon the values that they knew. Their foundational values, discovering what they hold to be true about reality. Okay, it becomes the faith on which our lives are built. How we live in response to this faith, the answer becomes the value of what we hold about ourselves. Those people in that first slide, much like all of you, base most of their life's decisions and many of the things that they do based upon the values that they hold, the faith that they have. And this then develops into their character. And your character is what you hold true about ourselves, that is observable in moral and ethical actions. Your character, if you say someone has good character, you believe they are moral, they are ethical, they have good values, they're based in positive, right, psychology. You also believe, for the most part, probably that they are seeking that happiness, okay? Happiness scale, okay? There's a study done by two psychologists, Myers and Diener, 1996. Their study, the average individual's rating of life satisfaction was 6.75. So the fact is, most people are trending towards, or they tend to be at least over the halfway point of being completely satisfied. 90% of people indicate they're somewhat or very happy. Hopefully you're one of those. Happiness, what are the characteristics and situations that lead to a happy life? Psychologist Carol Reif identified 6 core dimensions of happiness. Self-acceptance, so part of being happy is accepting who you are. The positive relations with other people, we talked about social wellness and your relationships, right? Part of being happy or finding that happiness is having positive relationships with other people. Autonomy, having people tend to know where they're headed. Okay, good sense of values, not easily influenced by others. Environmental mastery, okay, happy people are much better choosing realistic goals. They have good coping skills. They're resilient. Keep going back to where we were before when we were talking about all the, as you can see, every single wellness kind of interacts with each other. The reason balance is so important. And purpose in life. Strong indicator of happiness when a person feels like they have a purpose in life. People that oftentimes jump from job to job to job oftentimes don't find that purpose. Okay? We'll talk a little bit about occupational wellness at some point in a few weeks too. Here we go. Purpose in life continued. And then the last one, personal growth. Happy people see themselves as continually growing and expanding, continually learning, lifelong learners. Compassion and concern. Spiritual wellness, not only does it have where we think about happiness, but we're also able to show compassion and concern. We're able to put as best we can, put ourselves in someone else's shoes and care about them and show compassion and concern about those people, okay? One of the biggest events that's happened, and many of you may not have been alive yet, was the attacks on September 11th, but you're all aware of what happened in 2001. During that time, there was a lot of compassionate and concerned people, and that came out in the United States, showed that it was a very different mood in the United States during that time because of that. Gratitude. Being spiritually well means that you are thankful. You show gratitude. You're thankful for what you have. You appreciate the people around you and what you're provided. Okay? Ask yourself, what are you grateful for today? How can you stay conscious of what you're grateful for? Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we get so tunnel vision with the things we don't have. We forget to think about what we do have and be grateful for the things that we have. Okay? Tolerance and respect. Tolerance and respect. Learn to embrace all parts of others. We talked about this before already, as you already know. We talked about this before. Tolerance, right? The multiculturalism that we have here in the United States, that we live in a country that is so diverse. But tolerance allows you to coexist peacefully with others. Patience. Patience. My father used to tell me when I was younger, I think he had a school teacher at one point that used to say it to him, but patience is a virtue, possess it if you can. And I was never I was never one that was very good at exercising patience. Okay. Patient people, truly patient people, have a gift. And we could all learn a little bit from some of those. And certainly a couple of the people that had the pictures that you saw in the front on that first slide, some patient people there, no doubt. Forgiveness. The power to forgive is a mountain. It is something that is so difficult. And I'll be honest, I am more forgiving the older I get. I am more forgiving the older I get. And I know it gets boring to listen to an old guy talk about being old, right? But I am more forgiving the older I get. I think that's because I realize that human nature makes us all do some dumb things. And it is such a better feeling to know that you can forgive, not forget, okay, not forget, but forgive. Forgiveness is not the same as reconciliation. Forgiveness is not the same as forgetting. You just heard me say that. Forgiveness is not condoning or excusing. Just because if someone does something wrong to me, it doesn't mean that if I forgive them, it doesn't mean that I think that what they did was okay. It doesn't mean that I'm okay with it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to necessarily be around to let them do that to me again. But I'm not going to hold for revenge. I'm not going to be resentful. Forgiveness is not justice. Just because someone's forgiven does not mean that justice has been served. If something were really horribly done to you, you might forgive that person, but that does not necessarily mean that justice has been served. All right. Don't forget that extra credit that I offered on the first slide, and have a safe and happy day.